Well, let's go on. Here you have another pair of sentences which I would like you to compare. The first one says, my little sister asked me when I had arrived. And the second one, when I arrived, they left the room in a hurry. All right. Do we agree both are complex sentences? Yes, good. Why? Well, because we see that in both cases you have a main clause and a subclause. Let's identify the subordinate clause in the first. When I had arrived. And the other one is when I arrived. All right. Now, have a look at the verb in the first sentence. What about the verb ask? Remember the possible patterns. Okay. Ask is a detransitive verb, which means it is followed by an indirect object, me, and a direct object. So, if this subordinate clause is a direct object, it means it has nominal value. Okay? So that means this is a noun clause, direct object. So how do I know this is a noun clause? Because the function is nominal. Direct object is a nominal function. If you go to the second case, you will see that in this case the verb is transitive, but the direct object is a noun phrase, the room. Then there is an adjunct, an adverbial adjunct of manner, which is a prepositional phrase. And what about the clause? It is also an adjunct, and that's how we know it is an adverbial clause, adverbial adjunct of time. Okay, now if we were analyzing sentences and we were inside the noun clause, I would say the subject is I. Sorry, the subject is I. Okay. And the rest is the predicate, okay? The verb phrase is had arrived, which is an intransitive verb. And what about when? Well, when would be an interrogative adverb, okay? And it would be an adverbial adjunct of time. You see, I am saying that this word performs performs a function within the structure of the clause. I had arrived when. This is an interrogative adverb, which is an adverbial adjunct of time. If I were analyzing the second sentence, once I get into the adverbial clause, I would identify subject I and the predicate arrived, the transitive verb, but I would say when performs no function other than introducing the subordinate clause. That's why I would say it is just a subordinating conjunction. Okay? So you have to be very careful because you have, again, a word when here and when here, but they are very different. And in the first case, it is the first word within the noun clause. In the second one, it is the word introducing an adverbial clause. Another point I would like to show here is that, remember we said that adjuncts are optional elements, and you may have more than one, okay? In fact, in this second example, you will see that you have more than one. Let me show you something very nice, if I can find it here. You know, one of the problems we have now that we are working online is that we can't find a nice tool to carry out our syntactic analysis. So we are trying to use this. Cynthia has been organizing this a little bit. Here you have the other sentences analyzed using this Excel, all right? So, my little sister is the noun phrase and it is a subject. It is a noun phrase which has a head noun, a pre-modifier adjective, and a pre-modifier determiner. Within the predicate, as we said before, you have a detransitive verb, followed by an indirect object pronoun, followed by the noun clause, which is a direct object, which has a subject, I, the predicate with a verb phrase, an intransitive verb as main verb, and an adverbial adjunct of time, an interrogative adverb. Okay? Of course, it belongs into the predicate. In the second example, we have the subject they, the rest is the predicate, and you have an adverbial clause, adverbial adjunct of time at the beginning. That is also important, okay? Adjuncts may appear at the beginning or at the end of a sentence, or even in the middle, okay? You may have more than one, and you may have, as in this case, let's look at this. You have, when I arrived at the beginning, introduced by the subordinating conjunction, there is a noun phrase subject, and in the predicate, an intransitive verb. Then we have the main verb in the sentence is a monotransitive verb, followed by the direct object noun phrase, the room, and followed by an adverbial adjunct of manner prepositional phrase. In preposition, object to the preposition noun phrase, Harry. Head, Harry, and the determiner pre-modifier. So if you look at this, here you have, okay, you have an adverbial adjunct of manner, and you have an adverbial adjunct of time. You have more than one, okay? All right, I will again post some a paragraph or some kind of activity for you to see how adverbial clauses operate in real life, okay? Well, good luck on Friday, and remember that you can get in touch when you have doubts, okay? You can get in touch with any of us. We're willing to answer your questions. Thank you. Next week, we're going to deal with the relative clause.